We're joined by special guest Governor Josh Green joining us for our monthly conversation. We have many questions to get to about many issues and topics that everyone wants to know about. But first, I have to ask you about your special visit with the Pope.
Yeah, it was extraordinary. What an incredible honor for Jamie and myself to be able to meet the Pope. They allowed us to sit right next to him and to spend some time talking afterwards. We took a delegation, which was called CSG, Council of State Governments, a bunch of different states and leaders to the Vatican, where we met with the Pope. And we shared our concerns about the trauma to mankind. And I got to invite him to come to Kalaupapa. Wow. We gave salt from Kalaupapa and a book. And he of course blessed everyone there. It's pretty incredible. I found him to be a very warm and kind person.
Well, we'll be keeping up to date on that. Hopefully he will accept that invitation. So more to come on that. I have to ask you, we were doing some stories about it earlier, but I know you've been following what's happening with the vaccines and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What's your take on this?
Well, that is not a great situation. It's not personal, it's not political, but Secretary Kennedy is destroying the Department of Health and Human Services, particularly the CDC. The CDC even had an attack during the last month because someone was so animated against vaccinations. Also, now you're seeing states break away from the recommendations for vaccines. For instance, Florida is now not going to require any vaccines at all. And you're going to see, this is for young school students, you're going to see outbreaks of measles, mumps, rubella, God forbid, polio. It's not good. So I'm asking him to step down. I would recommend that the president take advantage and use him in some other space. Let him work on chronic disease or nutrition or processed foods or even pesticides. But he really is dismantling public health in the country. So we had to form a coalition of the Western states where we will use science-based recommendations, not mandates. Recommendations for people to choose based on science and best practices what they should do. We will, at this rate, though, see a big problem because also Secretary Kennedy canceled mRNA research. Why will that be bad? Well, they're going to be doing it in Europe, they'll be doing it in China, and if we have an outbreak of bird flu, they're going to be ahead of us. They will have the upper hand in responding to pandemics. So, I just have to try to be honest with people. And again, I was speaking to some Republican colleagues and Democratic colleagues saying, make a better choice with Mr. Kennedy because this is bad.
I want to talk about, you touched on pandemic. We've seen how tourism, what it can do to our economy. And right now we're entering that shoulder season in the fall. How do you feel about how our tourism outlook is right now and how we bounce back and some of the challenges we're facing?
It's not great and it's not bad. It is okay. Right now, we are still recovering from 2019. For example, we did $1.95 billion, so just under $2 billion of visitor spend last month. That's up 15% from pre-pandemic, but we've also seen inflation since the pandemic, so that's a concern. We have a softening of some markets. The Canadians are upset because the administration talked about annexing them, which is not cool. So they're upset with us, me, and everyone else, and I'm trying to calm them down and have them come back to Hawaii. On the flip side, we're seeing some indications that we're going to see a good fall and winter season. The Japanese tourists are beginning to come back more. We're going to have a really robust marathon. Probably 45,000 people participating, and that's huge for us. It's a lot of revenue, it's a lot of activity, it's a lot of friendship and camaraderie with Japan. So I'm going to keep encouraging people to come to Hawaii appropriately. We're balancing things. We're balancing tourism with revenue, with the impact that tourism has. That's why we reinvented the Tourism Authority. I've got those guys advising me in a more kind of gentle way. We're also going to do more management of tourism. We're going to emphasize film tourism. Everyone, I hope everyone's watching Chief of War. It is awesome. I'm waiting to see whether Jason hooks up with, I won't spoil it for anybody.
Okay, please don't. I'm way behind on this.
Okay. And it's amazing. So there's a lot of positives on our economy and positive developments that our administration is working on, but it's never easy. And if we enter into a global recession, we will have a challenge. I will say this. Some of the lack of big tourism dollars, which people tend to like to see, will be offset by the amount of construction that we do. You're about to see about $7 billion arrive in Maui for the recovery, for housing, rebuilding businesses. That will help a lot, and I have a couple tricks up my sleeve. Hopefully bring a few billion extra dollars for our own big projects here in the state. So we'll be updating people on that month over month.
Governor, we only have about 30 seconds left, but I just want to touch on the green fees here. And what is the master plan for these buckets of extra revenue and the ultimate goal for that?
So the goal is to have that committee, we call it, I think, the Green Fee Council, run by Jeff Michelina, a really strong environmentalist, guide a panel of 10 to give us the recommendations for environmental protection, hazard mitigation and disaster relief, and then support of kind of managed tourism. All of those recommendations will come to me and I'll give them to the legislature, totally transparent. There's a website, we want the input. We want this to be foundational to how we protect our environment and make sure that people have the right experience in Hawaii.
Well, Governor, we appreciate you, and please keep us posted on the Pope and accepting that invitation.
I promise.
Here, aloha.